Hi guys, Blake here with Lilley's Landing Resort and Marina. Gonna do the one cast for you today. It is Thursday, October the 3rd, and I am gonna be throwing a fly rod today, 5 weight, 5X tippet. Okay, I've got a size 4 split shot on and a size 1 split shot on, about 8 inches down to my first scud, Peppy Gray size 12. Followed another 6 inches by a size 14 Peppy Gray scud. I'm going to be fishing. I boated up here to the line today. We're getting ready to drift in front of the island. And I'm going to be throwing about 10 foot deep. They've got 4 units of water running. I had a lot of luck up here the other day. They weren't running quite this much water, but we were drifting the same line from the line down to Trophy Run, and we were doing pretty well. Right here in front of this island, it shallows up quite a bit, and it usually holds quite a few fish. There's some big rocks down there, and there's usually quite a few fish coming up here in front of this island. The other day when there was a half unit of water running, we were still floating the indicator, or floating the last scud from the indicator about 10 foot down, just with a lot less weight. The sun's gonna be right in my eyes. I can't see my indicator. Well, nothing officially on the one cast here. What I'm doing is I've got my boat sideways here, and I'm just, you know, I found this line that I want to drift, and just keeping the boat sideways and drifting through it. I hope the sun isn't kind of glaring the screen right now. I'm not sure if it is or not. Oh, there was a hit. Missed him. The idea kind of behind that double scud, you could get the same effect drifting just one scud and catch fish, but I find that if you put the 2 scuds on there, the top one kind of is like an attractor. It kind of gets the fish's attention. They see 2 scuds, and I think that they'll move a little bit farther from where they're at to go get it. Whoa. It was pretty windy when I first pulled up here, but the winds seem to dissipate down, which helps out whenever you're using an indicator on a fly rod. If the wind's pushing against your boat, a lot of the time you'll have to continuously mend your line, but if you've got a good current with little wind, you don't have to do a lot to your line to keep your... There's one. Oh, missed him again. So right now I'm not having to mend my fly line to keep it dragging at the same rate of the flow. But if there was a wind, I would have to be moving my line to keep the bobber from dragging. There's one. We'll see if I can keep this one on here. A couple days ago when we were up here, we caught quite a few nice trout drifting the same line that I'm drifting today. I caught 4 that were over 20 inches, and we were doing this exact same thing. Whenever the water was running slower, we were using smaller scuds. We were using a size 16 on top as the attractor fly and a size 18 on bottom. Oh, he's running me out. I'm gonna have to chase this one. And when the water's running slower, they can see a little bit better. So using the smaller scuds tends to work a little bit better. But whenever they're running this much water, it seems that you can get away with using a bigger fly. Let's see if I can keep him out of that tree there. He's really putting up a fight. I think I caught him on the top scud, it looks like, from here. A lot of the time I have them hit the bottom scud, but occasionally they will hit the top fly instead. That's a nice rainbow here. Oh, that's no good. I better net this one. Oh. Oh yeah. All right. Very pretty fish. Oh, 15, maybe even 16 inches long. I'm gonna get him back in the water there. There you go, buddy. All right. And so whenever I come down from the line, I've got past the island, past rebar hole, and past the big log now. These last few days, I've been preferring to fish this right side. Right side if you're going back down lake. I've just been finding a few more fish stacked up through here. Keeping my indicator set at that 10 foot with just enough weight to bounce it off the bottom allows me not to have to change depths on my indicator quite as often as I'm drifting down from the line. It's kind of a happy medium, because it will change from, right now we're probably setting over 7 or 8 foot of water, and up here in front of this island, this little small island, it'll only be 3 or 4 foot right in front of there. But as long as your weight's not too heavy and it's just ticking the bottom, you won't have to worry about changing your depth. And having to pull your indicator up every few minutes and change the depth kind of takes away from time where those scuds are dragging the bottom. These last few days I've been using this 5X tippet and it hasn't seemed to affect the bite. So, you know, another good rule of thumb is if they're biting it the heavier line, fine, then use the heavier line, because you're obviously going to be able to land more fish that way. Oh, there was one. Don't be discouraged if you come out and you're fishing the scud and you're getting a lot of bites and not a lot of hook sets. It's just part of using that smaller fly. Oh, there's another one. They're just putting it in the very edge of their mouth, and if you pull up on it and the hook's not in the right position, it'll just pull out of their mouth. But it sure is fun to get a bunch of bites. Alright, now my boat's drifting a little bit faster than my indicator, so I'm having to, I don't know if you can see this on the video, but I'm having to mend the line back to keep the indicator floating at the same speed as the current. This water I'm fishing through right now is quite a bit deeper. I'm gonna set this just a touch deeper. Last night I went out wading after dark up here at the dam in front of Outlet 1, doing something I'm not quite familiar with yet, stripping streamers on the fly line. And I've tried it a few times before, never had any success, and last night I caught 5 stripping the streamer up in front of Outlet 1 at night. So that was fun. Whenever you're fishing at night and you're stripping something like a streamer or a sculpin or something like that, you can use the heavier line. I was using 2X tippet, and I think the 2X tippet I have was the equivalent of like 10 pounds. The fish can't see that well at night, or they can't see the line as well. So whenever you do hook into one, there's not as big of a chance of losing them. And I was using floating line, and ideally you use sinking line to strip those back when you're fishing them. So I tied on an extra long leader with extra tippet, and I put a couple split shots along the line to get the same effect. And I'd cast out 90 degrees with the current and let it drift back. Roll! I reached for my phone, and it's almost like the fish knew it. Getting lots of bites. I'm just not setting the hook very well here. I'm going to shorten that down again. We're getting into an area where there's a big shallow flat here in front of me. I don't need quite as much line down there. Man. Well, there's no doubt that they're biting it. I'm just not setting the hook fast enough. See some fish midging off in the distance towards the bank. And something you can do whenever you're out here fishing these scuds, for me, I know the peppy or the gray has been working well, but you can fish the double scud and you can put, you know, a gray on top, a bigger gray on top, and a smaller tan on bottom, or an olive, and you can try to get an idea of which color and which size is working the best. I haven't switched to see if a tan scud was working. I read a report the other day where someone was using a 18 tan and that they were catching them, so I imagine they're also biting the tan scud. But I've been catching so many on the gray that I have not tried the tan, so that might be something worth trying too. I think they have slowed the water down on me here. I think part of my problem is I might need to take a little bit of weight off because the water is not running as fast anymore. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, so I got rid of my smaller weight that I had on there, and now I just have the size 1 split shot. Idea behind keeping the split shot within, you know, 8 to 12 inches of the first fly is to get it down there and keep it in front of their faces, especially underneath the indicator. Sometimes if you set the split shot too far above, the flies will float up too far. But that's obviously something that you can play around with, you know, and see which length the split shot above will work the best. Just, you know, keep switching the few different inches until you figure out exactly where the fish are at in the water column. Right now we're down right in front of the island, right before trophy run. Just starting at the tip of the island here. There's also a shallow flat that comes out here, I don't know, 50, maybe 40 yards. And I tend to catch a lot of fish dragging the scud through this area. Finally found some shade. Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's where
I'll take a couple more casts and drift down to Trophy Run here. I try to keep my rod tip pulled up a little bit when I'm drifting in the boat like this. That way, if I do get a hook set, I do get a bite, I don't have a bunch of a line hanging out that will prevent me from hooking the fish. Try to keep it nice and straight with very little bends in it. A little too shallow over there. I'm gonna try fishing this water that's a little bit deeper over here. One thing I haven't done this whole time and is good to do is make sure that your scuds are free of moss, and those ones are free of moss, because the fish do not like salad with their main course. And if you even have just a little bit of moss on there, they generally won't bite it. So if you're going a long time without either hitting the bottom or feeling those taps or getting a bite, pull up and make sure that you don't have moss on your flies. I'll make this our last cast here.
Are we screwing you up, man?
No, you're fine. Alright, I lied. One more cast. Alright, now I'm directly in front of Trophy Run. And the current gets running quite a bit faster through here, so I'm going to guess that I don't have enough weight again. Alright, I think I'm going to call it there, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys again tomorrow.